Hey, so I want to talk to you about how a deal can quickly fall apart where you least expect it. So, had this couple who's buying a house in Bergen County, and we made the offer, got the offer accepted amongst several other offers. We won the bid, and we go through inspections. We negotiate all aspects of the inspections. We get a credit. Crazy market. We still got a credit for some stuff. And there was a septic which was unknown because it was an estate sale. The owners passed away. The estate was selling the home. And so nobody had any intel on this septic. We dig it up. We find septic pit 1, we find tank 2, and it's a hot mess. And so the whole thing needs to be replaced, but they're not sure. They think it does. Engineer needs to come, all this stuff. So anyways, all the negotiations are pretty much done except for the septic, because we have to wait and see, dig up, let the engineer tell us that it's a whole full replacement, or are there parts and components that need to be replaced. Honestly speaking, I knew, the realtor knew, everybody in the picture, engineer knew it would be a full replacement, but the engineer couldn't state as such until he dug it up, right? Or looked at the plans or whatever, right? So of course the buyers are like, well, maybe it won't be new, and maybe they'll just fix it and give us a Band-Aid solution. I'm like, that's not how it works. Engineer needs to do whatever the town is going to bless, so it has to be done properly. The town is very strict, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it has to be a new septic. However, the attorney of the estate, so before I go to the attorney of the estate, the seller, the buyer, the two agents representing the two parties all come to a wonderful agreement and conclusion that we can wait to close post the septic being changed, which means the closing has to be delayed. Initially, the closing was going to be in 45 days, not even. And everybody's on board. The attorney of the estate is like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think in this market, you should close before the septic gets changed. Put money in escrow for the buyer to have in case something goes wrong, but you should close beforehand. Well, all that is great, except, the money they wanted to offer to put in escrow was 1.5 times the cost of the septic. So let's just say, for that property, I'm going to say it was a big house, big tank, big septic, right? So it was a $40,000 job, all inclusive. Well, with that said, they were going to give $60 in escrow, $40 to cover the job, and $20 extra, 1.5 times what it's going to cost, just in case there's any variables that change. We're not going to talk about whether that was enough money or not. It was a hard no for my clients, the buyers who were going to buy this property, that they did not want to do that. They wanted it done, and then they want to close because they want zero liability of doing it the other way around. I respect their call. Totally fine. We walked from the deal. Because there were other buyers who didn't care. They were like, no problem. We'll take 1.5 the money. We'll do the job. And then if everything goes as planned, we'll pay the 40 and we'll give you the 20 back. If there's changes, we're going to take it out of the 20. So these guys who won the house now walked away from the house, and the deal is now dead. All because of the estate attorney claiming that it's not the best thing for the estate to close later after the septic is replaced. Instead, they should close post-septic change and then just put money in escrow. And that is a perfect example of how things just fall apart because of one thing from one person, even though all parties involved agreed. Very frustrating, but that's a day and a life in real estate. Have a good one.